Hello, I'm Brandon McPhee and I'll be carrying on from my last video about the 3-row button key accordion. I was delighted by the feedback on my last video and will continue to do even more videos in the future, including some pointers that have helped me, as well as some reviews on different 3-row button keys tuned in the keys of B, C, C sharp. If you like what you see, please hit like or subscribe free to our YouTube channel for more videos, and also it's a good way to get a notification on the new content which we upload all about the 3-row button key accordion. We're going to start right back at the very beginning. The accordion is one of several European inventions of the early 19th century and believed to be invented in Berlin in 1822. Although patented 7 years later, it only had a left-hand button board with the right hand simply operating the bellows, which is this part in the middle. Through the years we have seen many variations of the original accordion, such as the concertina, the bandoneon, which is basically a bigger version, even the harmonium, which was a common church and household instrument at the time, whereby air passed through a set of reed blocks via foot operating pedals, and eventually became an early advent to the electric organ, which developed in the 1930s, so it's all basically related. The accordion is played by pressing buttons or piano keys either side, which opens something which is called the pallets. They look like this. This allows air to flow through to the reeds, which look like this. The reed tongue is on the reed plate. The reeds is what makes the sound of an accordion. Some accordions literally have hundreds of reeds inside them, depending on the size of the accordion and of course how many voices is inside the accordion. These vibrate to produce sound inside the body. Valves is what you see on the reed plates, can be leather or can be plastic material, vinyl, etc., on opposing reeds of each note, which are used to make the instrument's reed sound without air leaking through each individual block. When an accordion reed is being tuned, it has to be done with a special file for the job. To sharpen the reed tongue, you have to scratch the point with a special file, which literally takes off metal. And to flatten it, you have to scratch down vertically on the bottom part of the reed tongue. Most reeds nowadays are waxed and used a special formation of beeswax that include resin, etc. But I'm lucky because I don't have to bother with any of that, because the Hohner Shand Morino is pinned on top of leather onto the reed blocks. This makes that incredible Shand sound, which of course went worldwide. There is other makers of the 3-row accordion which did this also, one of which is Super Salish, which came from Italy. I actually prefer the pinned reeds, less hassle really. 3-voice accordions can have 3 separate reeds playing at exactly the same time. And of course 4-voice is exactly the same, 4 reeds playing. And there is 5-voice accordions out there, but they're a little bit bulky and not so popular. Although I do know of a 5-voice bass accordion out there, which obviously is an incredible sound, but again very bulky. But then it goes to the individual player of what they like, and mostly 5-voice accordions are excellent quality, as are most of the 3-row button key. The melody is played on buttons or keys on the right hand, which is accompanied on the left hand, consisting of bass and preset chords on the left hand. Although I've seen players switching sides and playing accordions upside down, which both baffles and amazes me, but they do it. I'm sometimes asked what is the coupler buttons, which is obviously called registers as well. These are like the buttons that are usually in front of the keyboard, or sometimes made into the grill, the sound grill that is. Some 3-rows have them on the back of the keyboard on levers. It basically operates slides underneath the reed block Some are plastic, some are aluminium, which tends to be the older accordions, which literally cuts off air supply to certain reeds to change the sound, depending on which coupler you've pressed, of course. The dots on the individual couplers which are shown tends to be which reeds are playing from the block inside your accordion. Sometimes one or two couplers may be repeated on certain models, just for convenience really. If you're playing at the bottom of an accordion, it's easier to change the coupler at the bottom, and the same if you're at the very top. Can be very handy. You get ones on the side of the keyboard, but that's mostly on piano accordions. I've never seen one with a button. Of course, you have your thumb on the side of the treble keyboard on a button. You can see them on the bass hand too, obviously, as well, which changes the individual tones. This tends to be on all Shand Morinos, except one batch that was made of little Shand Morinos that didn't have any bass couplers at all. I've never seen a big 46 key model with no bass couplers. The storage of your accordion is very important. Do not store it in a damp place. Reeds will rust very quickly. Valves will spoil. Avoid damp environments. Don't play in the kitchen as the tatties are boiling. John Crawford told me that, who was obviously an accordion wizard. Genius at playing accordion, tuning, and also all the repairs. The bedroom isn't really a good one either, because if you think about it, you lose 1 to 2 pounds of water as you sleep. So that's then in the air, and then your accordions are amongst that. So I would suggest somewhere that's not too cold or not too hot, just an even temperature. It's worth looking at because it's little things like this that keep your accordion fresh. Keep it away from sunlight. Don't have it near the window or near any heaters or anything. And of course, if you have it out the case, certainly don't leave it near a window. Some accordions reeds are waxed in, and this heat can basically ruin the wax. The wax can weaken and your reeds will loose and go everywhere. It can be quite a disaster really. I keep a little silica gel packets in all my different accordions. Of course, when going on tour there's a lot of temperature changes, and this basically absorbs any dampness that might have been. Of course, keep an eye on it, because if it does absorb dampness, you also don't want that in your accordion. So it really is a catch-22. I'd suggest keeping a dust cover, or well, what I keep is actually good pillowcases over the accordion, and wipe it down after every use. After a period of time, the accordion gets a slimy feel about it, which gets kind of damp, and then of course that accumulates dust and it can be quite horrible. You have to keep your accordion well maintained. It's very, very important. Never put your accordion to a repairer or someone that maybe doesn't know what they're doing, because this can cause even more problems for your cherished instruments. Never play with an accordion that's out of tune either, because your ear will adjust to the sound of the out of tune note, and then your ear will then think that's the correct note, which isn't good either, because at the end of the day it's a wrong note. A simple search online will get you the tuners that are available. Of course, if you have any queries, feel free to get in touch, and I'd be happy to put you in touch with some of the tuners that is available of both button, piano and melodeons, which is really useful to know. Musette tuning is a kind of tuning used in Scottish music, but also French, Germany. The list goes on. Musette tuning is when you have 3 reeds, one in tune, one slightly flat, one slightly sharp, causing the notes to vibrate against each other. It really is quite interesting when you think about it. Jimmy Shand, obviously known worldwide for his Scottish musette sound. It has to be my favourite one as well. I'll leave it for now, but I'll be back soon with some more videos about the 3-row button keyed accordion, tuned in B, C, C sharp. I hope you all enjoyed this informative video, and hope you'll catch us all next time. All the best.